Today we talk about the worst change to the Switch 2. So, if you have not been, I have finished watching the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. There is one announcement I am very excited for. I will not tell you what game it is. No, it's not Mario Kart. It's another game that's similar to Mario Kart they announced as well. But we had to discuss about how I even $70 games I think is pretty expensive for a video game. Okay. And I think if game developers really want to avoid having a second crash in gaming, they need to actually reduce the price of games. But it seems that my wishes are being ignored as the middle class and lower class, especially the lower class of gaming. Most of the people who pirate and use emulation are low class. Okay, we're talking about people who do not make a lot of money. Okay, you know they can't afford games. That's why they pirate or use emulation. As much as I'm not a big fan of emulation and piracy, because I think you should support the developers, $80 is a little too much for video games. Okay, and we talked about how GTA 6 is gonna be $100. And how Rockstar wants it to be $100 because reasons. Okay, they always say it's because games are too expensive to make, but you really think people are gonna want to buy GTA 6 for $100? But never underestimate the simple consumer who will buy anything at full price as well. But I just wonder how more expensive thing can they make video gaming before people to stop buying video games and just stop playing old games as well. Okay, until developers get the note that they have to reduce the price of video games as well. So the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World, this is in the US version, and 90 in Europe, so Europe as well. But gamers grumbled when they eventually got used to $30 games as well here. And for so long, 60 was the standard as well. But Sony was the one who originally pushed for games being more expensive. Okay, not Nintendo. Nintendo's not the evil villain. I think Nintendo probably knows GTA 6 is gonna be $100. Okay, the fact that the new Mario Kart is 80 really shows that they're gonna make GTA 6 $100, and that's gonna be the new industry standard for PS5 and Xbox Series X games. Like, is anyone really gonna buy a game for $100? I'm just astonished why these game developers, it's not just Nintendo, it's Sony and Xbox too. We're not gonna let them out. We're not gonna leave them out of because they're gonna do the same thing too. They're gonna start making games $80 too for Xbox and PlayStation games. I just wonder when is it gonna be enough? Is enough for these developers, and publishers thinking that, hey, we're gonna because they think that we have infinite money. Okay, but the problem is these game developers, that streamers, which are the people who they want to appeal towards, are not really the majority of the gaming population. Of course, they're gonna be able to play the games. Okay, I will be able to afford Mario Kart Tour World. Okay, because I, have a lot of money. But what about the people who can't afford Mario Kart, not Mario Kart Tour, Mario Kart World? I keep calling it Mario Kart Tour, but it's not Mario Kart Tour, it's Mario Kart World. Okay. Okay, God, notifications about the horrible news about the Switch 2 price. And yeah, the Switch 2, I think, is be the same price as like the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Okay. Still cheaper than a Steam Deck, which I find ironic. If you want the Steam Deck for the highest gigabytes and the highest graphics, you got to pay $700. And the Steam Deck is still pretty shitty anyways because it has shitty battery life. It has, yeah, that's what the Steam Deck is. It doesn't really have a lot of gigabytes as well. But the Switch 2 only has 256 gigabytes. Like, what is Nintendo thinking? Okay, like 256 gigabytes. Some of those games they sold off are 100 gigabytes a piece if you want to buy games digitally. The Switch 2 is going to fill up very quickly. I know you can just play one game at a time, but if you want to have Mario Kart and Mario Party and you don't have to download them every single time, but guess what? Nintendo is copying the worst trend with the Xbox and PlayStation games where you have to download the games in order to play them. Yes, that trend. It seems that Nintendo's copying all of the shitty trends that the modern gaming just has, and if you own a physical game, well, guess what? You still have to download it on the Xbox and PlayStation. I'm not really too sure about PlayStation. And apparently, Nintendo's gonna do the same thing here too, as well. And people always call me a Nintendo shill, that I defend Nintendo, that I'm this Nintendo shill that defends $1 billion company. But I criticize Nintendo from time to time if they make a crappy decision. I'm willing to do that. To criticize Game Freak too extensively. A lot. Game Freak especially. And the Pokemon Company. Okay. And their greed. Okay. But see if the Nintendo's taking a page out of Wario's playbook and making games $80. Like, why would you want to spend $80 on a video game? Okay. As well. But games are back, but people will say, but in the 90s, games were $75 in the 90s. Okay. But first of all, they didn't go up in the fucking 90s. Okay. For all my life, games are $40 to $60, and that was the standard price for video games. Now, all of a sudden, games are now $70 to $80, and soon $100 on GTA 6. And it's just why? Okay, they'll make the excuse that at least the Mario Kart World, at least the game has a lot of content. Like, they said the game is going to be a big, huge game. Like, it's going to have a lot of content in the game. But what's the excuse for games like Stellar Blade? Okay, I know I like to make fun of the game a lot, but Stellar Blade is a standard open world game. The only selling point that game really has is the Garrett that's a big pair of titties, but that's really the whole selling point of the game. And the game only sold like 700,000 copies. I know the developer said the game was sold 2 million copies, but how did a game not sell 2 million copies without the game being on sale? Okay, like, if a game only made $53 million, and it supposedly sold 2 million copies, the game only has to be sold at $20 each, when the game was $70 full price when most of the games existed, as well. And when it comes to gaming, I think gaming is gonna head towards the game crash as well. Not gaming industry as a whole, because games will be on sale, obviously, but I don't think the Switch 2 will sell as badly as the Wii U, obviously. Like, Nintendo's never gonna go back to that era, but the reason why the Switch sold very well is the Switch was very affordable. Okay, that's the whole reason why the DS sold well. But it seems that Nintendo wants to be like the PS5. I think the Switch 2 will sell regardless if of the price, obviously, as well. And some people say the reason why the Switch games are more expensive is because of the tariffs, obviously, as well. But this is the tariff scene what they can get away with, and some people are looking forward to, booming AAA game development budgets and price increase will eventually arrive as well. Like, even like you pay for internet access as well. And yeah, I think gaming is gonna crash. I think it's gonna crash as well. But Rockstar was okay to say, well, they can charge 80 to 90 for upcoming biggest game of all time. Yeah, this is gonna kill the gaming industry. I think $100 games are gonna kill the gaming industry. Like, I would say that $70 is gonna ruin sales, but guess what? People sell bought games anyways. So I guess it really wasn't enough for the gaming industry to be and it's really just the gaming industry as a whole, not just Nintendo. The gaming industry has become very greedy as well, which I think that's gonna kill the gaming industry as a whole. I think Nintendo will probably be the least effective of all, because Nintendo, has a lot of fans who will buy anything they put out. But when it comes to everyone else, this is going to be a huge struggle. It's not just the gaming industry that's going to struggle, it's Hollywood and the movie industry as well. Okay, like, there's no reason a game like Concord should cost $800 million to fucking make, when the game's just complete trash and the character designs are complete trash. And it's funny, most of the AAA game development budgets, it's mostly on like crappy games too, like Dragon Age: The Valley God, Assassin's Creed Shadows, that don't sell anyways. Okay, as well. So, yeah. But don't talk about the Switch 2 price as well. I think we're going to do something real about Mario Kart World. And the fact that Nintendo refuses to acknowledge the spin-off characters as well here. And yeah, goodbye.